Ham gamus, Aluganda Kashan Nole, Male Rayitung Ede Edumepis, Adi, Muli Rajeg Rayitum Ede Edumepis. A Rayitun Nede Mirajega, I Kadakapis, Gatun Kurakapis, Rajam Kurakapis. Adi Rayitun Nede Ingeto Mirajeg Zuanum, music Adum Mutalakapis. Followed up Penny Hakurbo Kudina Ganja Day. Get up the new Hakurum and Natua way to Palam. Later stage of Anika attempt to Pravidane. Then it called mild substance. Only Mihar with any methadone being alone, media they have come for a Mamati pushing Madamuto drug abuse. They took methadone DTD games. So no one was able to treat within the ATM. Followed up Penny Hakurbo Kudina Ganja Day. Bomb ever no boy, a good in the Salamatan way. Alone Mena, a can delegate. Emenaku Komeheng Abaduga, Hamaga Tibeka, Edidane Kama, Alugonmen Hamaga Tibe Mihum, Dekeni Kamakunete. Emenaku Abadaku Hamaga Tibeng, Emmen Benu Nuvedane. Vima Komese Bayak Abadues Hamabuddin Nette Gadigadi Nette Iru Annanakama Algonmen Dekenjihene. Agondu Hamaya Vidigen mi deke ane Fahakura and Nugutaiki Hamai netting Benumva Miha Ekan Kurang owing Hamekan Vasilatiki Hakura Vima then Hakur Ginaway. I want to sing a Hamami a Hasakongadi Algon Rice Kudakan Kamudava.
Samidana Vakeki Hakurum Ekariko then a comment Buinamavis. Me Salame Kureto Bedumaki Miga Komiskada Minga de Gotuga Behead to Maki Muhimaka. Algonmena by far and Hivani Domi Humbegia Bone Emi Humulegotan Olegan Wane. I want to be Timasiki Domi Humulegotan Olegia. Algonmen Salano Bevidan.
Gina Adadeg Zuang Anghim Befrum, Adi Zuang Pirihim Befrums, Barag Gina Adadeg. Algonge Gatung Edemung Anani, Eba to the Kankan, Hingi and Nudinuma. Algondu Dana Vakeki, Heal Falkurum Minivan Kang, Libidi Fava Iruga. Eba take Hialate, Ebayaku, Faga Kurevima, Ekama, Nuruhekama Bani Nama. Alugandu Genazaruga, Aluganda Fenemuga, and a Buddha go to Kavani, a Anen Hialatis. The Devana Goibis, not Ehem Visnumebis, Aneka Lungambra, Ehem Bayako, Hamakuru. Avon Varabodang Eden, Huriha Befrumis. Sulavericama, Adi Birdekum Neti, Evis Halega, Aniage Maga, Nuata, Hamanjumuge Maga Kanta, Gendan Kamuge, Vahakataka, Nuata, Hialata, Nula, Saf Ko. Hial Fal Kuramu, Adi Ebaku de Kegoi, Parat Sarihako, Bayan Kuramu, Gendan Kama. Atu Sitiga, Behet to Mating Echevima, Etanuge City Council Mayor, Erosuge, Ekankura Baeka Ekiga, Beheti, Alugandu, E Dushives, Et Tarada Fie Bonifamu. Boluga, headband Aluwafa, Allah Akbar. Jihadi Ruhega, Ehing Vidal Wamung, Torimacha Neruva, Vudu Kurabaging, Kundiaka, Bimacha, Tiri Namad Kurabam Fetevima, then Exhaustake Bayakan, Astan Nunto. Gabul Kurabal, the Eiki and Amu, Usul Kamaka, Befrun and Nudeke, Egeto Miharo, Eha Mustag Befrum Misalaka, Adi, Eha Tanavas Befrum. Then Kundiaka Muli Hayang, Egota Badal Kollafa, Emanzar Dekevima, Eikie, Ma, Medumine Kamaka Nuata, Algon Mideke, Mikia, moderate Kamaka, Bear Parata Mudeke. Amen Kudin, Hitan, the Panjeto, Noar, the Kudina, Kavan Kurunga, Ragal Cometo, Jaria, and Gengula and Jeheneto.
And strong viewpoints about Wahhabism spreading in the region. Could you try to explain, maybe to a wandering Western public, the true facts of what is actually happening? The fight between progressive and reactionaries, or if you would put it in more lyrical terms, the fight between the darkness and the light, please.
Thank you. Very often the Maldives is a prelude to what happens in the Middle East. It happens first in the Maldives, and then it happens in bigger Islamic societies. We were able to build political parties, galvanize our people to political activism. You must understand Hosni Mubarak and President HajaM went to university together. So these are in very many senses like the 1500s European kingdoms where sisters are always married to each other on all sorts of places. So you have rulers connected to each other through all sorts of mechanisms. So once one of them fall, it's very often that the dominoes start falling after that. We were able to galvanize our people to political activism, form political parties, get the constitution amended, and we did not topple the government, but we wanted to have an election. Now, if you look at what's now happening in Egypt, the good judge there yesterday has decided to pass sentence saying that Mr. Mubarak was scotch-free and nothing wrong with, he didn't shoot anyone, apparently he did nothing. And you think, that this is going to create stability in the new Egypt? No, it's not. I am sure that this big country is going the same line, in the same direction as the Maldives has gone. And I am certain that they are going to have a military coup, as we have had. And I'm also certain that before the gunpowder actually explodes, the United States and big countries are going to recognize the new regime. And I'm sure, again, we will go into this long argument of a free and fair election in Egypt. I'm not suggesting that I have the answers for this. I'm just merely making an observation that there is a blueprint in the Maldives, and you must use that to understand what's happening elsewhere in similar cultures and in similar societies. We may be small, but we represent a lot of Middle Eastern or Islamic cultures. Now, on radical Islam and the Wahhabism that is spreading throughout the Middle East and now East Asia, it's very, very, very worrying. Now, this is not Islam necessarily, but more Hijaz or Saudi thinking, their culture. And it is an idea to impose that culture upon all Islamic societies. And I'm afraid that the spread of that thinking is very, very rapid. Partly because we haven't stood up and given an alternative narrative. Other more liberal Muslims haven't come out with a proper narrative that can counter the radical Islamic viewpoint. Now, what the radicals are doing, they have an answer for everything, anything. You could ring up in the middle of the night and say, Sheikh, I'm not able to sleep. And then the Sheikh would give you a hadith and a revelation on what the Prophet did and what the God has prescribed on sleeping in the middle of the night, and then you go back to sleep. We don't have a helpline. We don't have an alternative narrative. And I think it's so important that we come up with an alternative narrative, a liberal version of Islam, or actual version of Islam. I wouldn't argue that it's a liberal version of Islam. Radical Islam is spreading like wildfire even in Sri Lanka. And this is happening all over the world, all over the East Asia, Thailand, Philippines, Malaysia, Indonesia, Singapore, even India and Sri Lanka. And because Maldives is a very Islamic country, apparently, it is able to play a very very important role in the spread of these religious ideas. And similarly, I believe that with proper democracy in the Maldives, we can play a very important role as a counter to the Reformation, or rather the Jesuits have to come up quickly.
It would be nice to have a helpline though. I mean, many